What's up, blockchain gang? This is Danny Draghi, and I like to play, analyze, and occasionally cry about blockchain games, which are just games that allow players to trade their items with other players for real money. For example, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Diablo 2. So today, we're diving into a late game leveling guide for MIR4, specifically once you hit that glorious, soul-crushing milestone of level 131 and beyond. But first, I want to make a point to say that right now, if you live in the US and possibly other regions, I don't know how to off-ramp anything you sell in this game into dollars. I can buy WeMix on their website, but all of the centralized exchanges are blocked in the US and require KYC. I don't even know how to turn WeMix into other cryptos right now, so if you know, please let me know in the comments. We're in dire need of a real decentralized market, and not this piece of shit penis DEX with 4 and 6% fees, like I'm trading stocks on dial-up in 1995. This is bullshit, okay, WeMix? These fees are 10 times the industry standard. I didn't even want to make this video promoting the game, but I figured fuck it. If you're stuck here with me until they fix it, we should at least get the most out of it. If you've made it this far, congrats, you're officially deep enough into MIR4 that the XP curve stops being a hill and becomes more like a vertical rock wall covered in gamer grease. Let's talk about how experience scaling works in this game. Most levels in MIR4 follow what we call a quadratic curve for slow and steady growth. But at level 131, instead of slightly increasing the experience needed beyond the previous level, that curve snaps to an exponential formula where the experience needed more than doubles, and then continues growing in a new, smooth pattern until we reach level 141, where it doubles again, and so on. You will never be able to increase your power or experience modifiers by enough to keep up with this demand, but you should be as efficient as possible to decrease the grind. It's sort of like the Bitcoin halving, where even if you're doing the same amount of work, you're getting half as much progress after each Bitcoin halving. Some people are discouraged by this and quit playing the game, while others, like myself, came from MUDs with a 10-year progression curve, which find it increasingly rewarding over time. This is reinforced with the increase in value to your NFT each time you level up. People realize they might need to grind for weeks or even months for a single level, and so they dip. It's a shame, however, because if you treat your XP like a long-term investment, it can still definitely be worth it. There's even better news now that the Tower of Black Dragon used to have a level cap, and this rewarded players for staying artificially low level and just pumping their power. In other words, they were smurfing. It was the equivalent of skipping leg day forever, so that way you could punch down into a smaller weight class. This caused NFTs of lower level to be valued more than NFTs of a higher level with similar power. But since these level caps were lifted, we should start to see a market correction where NFTs of higher levels will become more desirable once again. As of now, here's a rough value estimate based on past market behavior. The first levels 100 through 131 are $1 per level. Levels 132 to 141 are about $10 each level. Level 142 to level 151 are like $100 per level, and each level over 151 is basically a down payment on a house in some parts of the world. And so what you realize is that while you're doing twice as much work, you're actually gaining much more value than that due to how the supply and demand curves work, since there are far fewer high-level NFTs now and a much greater demand for them. So XP is time, which, like everything else in this game, is money. Let's talk tools. Chances are you're probably not leveling in the best place while you're AFK. As you grow in power, these places might change more frequently than you think, so consider spending some time using MIR4tools.com/XP. I'm not associated or affiliated with this site in any way, but it is a very helpful tool that I would suggest you use. The site lets you calculate how much XP you need per level, track your XP gains per minute, forecast how long into your next level, and see the bonus XP from using your Secret Peak or Magic Square tickets. XP boosts really matter a lot in this game. Here's a quick breakdown of consumables that increase your experience gain. Elixirs should always be used twice a day for a total of 16 hours in combination with Vigor Pills. You could refresh them 3 times a day if you can't play the game that day and you just want to AFK grind for the whole 24 hours. You should set an alarm though so you remember to reset your elixirs. In the 8 hours you're not using those elixirs though, if you only use 2, then you should focus on your raids, events, dailies, domination server, and other low experience adventures so that way it's not wasted. Pills are best used in the Magic Square and Secret Peak areas since they only last a half hour, which matches up perfectly with the entry time per ticket. Droughts are just like elixirs, but they only last for 3 hours, so they are great to use in the Tower of the Black Dragon or to fill the gap between the 2 elixirs you're using that day. XP potions grant a stacking buff on top of these other potions, so you should save the higher rarities for the Tower and the Magic Square, but it is a good idea to try and always have these running unless you expect to be killed often. If you get the XP Battle Pass, you'll get a gain for 28 days, and if a clan sanctuary is built, it will give anyone in your clan a boost if they're grinding in that area. If you're not convinced about how important managing these are, just do a calculation with them off and then on, and you will see how many days it is costing you to grind each level. I want to take a second to break down the experience gain formula so everyone understands how it works. There are 3 main modifiers: the base experience given by monsters, your experience modifier gained through gear and progression systems, and if you have an active vigor bonus or not, which increases your experience by 150%. So if the base experience a monster gives you is 100, and you have a 100% experience boost, you would gain 200 experience points for killing it. But if you have the vigor buff active, that becomes a 250% boost, which is 350 total experience. This means that it's always beneficial to grind experience while you have vigor boost maintained, and if not, you should work in the mine and meditate or gather when you run out of pills. This leaves 2 ways to increase our experience gain: by increasing the base or increasing the modifier. You can increase the base by increasing the level of monsters that you're grinding or changing the area. Normal areas will be the standard amount of experience. If you move to the same level monsters in elite areas, they will give you 20% more experience. If you're in the labyrinth, you'll gain 50% additional experience. And if you're in the valley, you gain 100% bonus to base experience. So this sounds like the valley is always the best. However, you have to consider your time to kill and the enemy's grouping. If monsters in the open world have a base amount of HP, then monsters in the elite areas have 80% more health, so they take longer to kill naturally. The lab has 150% bonus to health, and monsters in the valley have 200% bonus HP. These monsters in the valley are also usually spaced out greatly, and there are less areas to grind, which usually makes the labyrinth areas and the secret passages the fastest experience points per hour until you can get to the Mirage ship. The Mirage ship regions are by far the best unlimited areas to grind, even with a group of Dragonians, because of the tight grouping of enemies, and they reward you with 180% bonus experience while only having 150% bonus health. All of the monsters in the Secret Peak give you 100% bonus experience, just like in the valleys, but the aggro monsters that attack you on sight have no health bonus, while the normal monsters on the upper levels have a 40% health bonus. This makes aggro monsters much faster to kill, and they're easier to group since they're constantly swarming around you. It should also be noted that 3 unique monsters will spawn every 5 minutes that will give you better drops and double the experience. The Magic Square treats the white and gold chambers just like normal monsters in the open world. The Magic Stone Chamber gives you a 100% bonus to base experience, while the experience in training chambers give you a 200% bonus to experience. The Anti-Demon Chambers will give you a 250% bonus to experience earned, but they will have 100% more health as well. The Tower monsters have triple the health, but give 330% bonus to base experience of normal monsters in the open world. It should also be noted that Anti-Demon Power will help you kill these monsters even faster, as well as the Anti-Demon Chambers and the Mirage world. This tower is a huge help when you're trying to grind experience, as it's typically the only thing that will get you left alone in this tower. I know this is a lot of data to dump on you, so I made a spreadsheet that I'm going to display on the screen so you can take a picture of it and use it to help you search for the hottest grinding spots available for your power level. Now let's talk about builds to help you get better XP gains. The common approach is to sacrifice any power for experience at any chance you get, which creates a weaker build, but we should consider other alternatives as well. First, we want to make sure that enemies are within 20 levels of our current level, or our experience gains will start to diminish. much. Next, instead of running everything maxed for experience, consider having a hybrid build for harder areas, such as the tower or the Mirage ship. Often in testing, I find it's better to have slightly less experience gain in order to kill monsters faster, or to be able to kill more powerful monsters without the risk of dying and losing a ton of time AFK. This can be done initially by keeping your experienced spirit pets equipped, but switching to a more powerful magic stone or mystic piece build, such as one that is focused on anti-demon power. This can help you find the right balance to grind those tougher areas for requests and mysteries as well. It can also help when you're sometimes stuck grinding lower level monsters to equip a build that prioritizes experience, but then shifts to drop and lucky drop chance, which will make you weaker, but the drops will be better and the time to kill will not suffer since you're killing everything in 1 or 2 hits anyway. And that's it, folks. That is your late game guide to XP grinding in MIR4. If you learned something new, or at least chuckled while grinding through the trauma, drop a like, a sub, or comment below. Tell me your level, tips, or if the grind is why you quit MIR4. I'll probably respond either way. Thanks for watching. From my battle to your war, this is MIR4.